channel.
You know what time it is, no press fam. The beatdown. Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. As a quick reminder to share, like, and please subscribe to help us grow this channel. Appreciate you. Side note, this episode is in honor of the recent Deadpool and Wolverine that already hit our screens. And if you want to know about their origins, powers, abilities, or feats, you can find all that is in the description below. And now we're talking about the T-1000 and Deadpool. With that being said, let's go. Alright, now let's get into the Endgame. In this corner, the T-800's greatest threat, the T-1000. His liquid metal helps him direct blade attacks thanks to the ability to shift around objects once he gets close enough to it. He can also surprise people with his liquid metal hands. He's an android, meaning he has a highly advanced and futuristic advantages. This should imply he has the capabilities to see an opening when it presents itself. Any sort of thing with a motor, and the machine can drive or fly it towards Deadpool's entire body. That could be a knockout depending on what he decides to use to ram him with. And in this channel we decide through either a complete end, completely end them, or a KO, and KO still counts. It never gets tired, and at some point that has to take a toll regardless if it takes a very long time. Like, I'm talking days of battling. The T-1000 just has to run out the clock until Deadpool starts losing momentum. Disarming weight comes in handy, obviously, as you can't really do the same that the T-1000, as he's a weapon as himself, meaning he has his weapons formed from his hands, not only relying on guns and other sources. Deadpool is an impressive fighter, no doubt, and all that, but usually he relies on a katana sword or a gun or something like that, something with weapons in order to use his abilities. Other than that, he's usually just a guy with a healing ability in this sense. The T-1000 was able to toss Arnold's Terminator around, which means he could also toss weight around or swing him around like Hulk's plaything. He can have Deadpool go on a wild goose chase over him, using his shape-shifting abilities to blend into certain environments and get the sneak attack on him. Wildcard, the T-1000 may have knowledge of a virus made up of tech that could paralyze Deadpool's nerve and put him down for the count. That's just, because obviously since the T-1000 is a robotic or an android that got corrupted, there is a theory that, maybe he can corrupt other things or other people, or make things that can corrupt. Use his time machine to take him to the time we drop nukes and have him Deadpool feel the might of that, and then come back to finish him off. Or he could just send him to his future where he has the home field advantage, since Deadpool doesn't really know what to do in a robotic apocalyptic future, and he'll obviously have his army and the numbers on him in that sense. Knockout is always an option, and Deadpool has been KO'd before, so given the T-1000 for a time had Arnold's Terminator out for a moment, same could be said about Deadpool as well then. Avoid extreme heat in areas like magma, and he'll manage to finish the merc with a mouth at some point. The T-1000 is an advanced, futuristic android, meaning there is a potential possibility that he has one of those collars that would make Deadpool's powers obsolete. Alright, now the Endgame. On this end, in this corner, the merc with a mouth himself, Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, using liquid nitrogen, and again, he's a goner. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, he can be defeated with liquid nitrogen, obviously as long as he just stays away from heat at that point, and just probably puts him in a liquid nitrogen cooler, he'd be straight. I mean, it's not easy to find, but there's still a potential possibility to find it, or make it himself. Fought several opponents at once with impressive skills, so the T-1000 doesn't exactly have anything when it comes to a straight up brawl with Wade. He he still has a form of super strength, so don't count him out when it comes to an arm wrestling showdown. He fought Cable, who is known as a future tech guy, and he actually got the W on him. So that rules could be applied at the T-1000. So yeah, maybe the T-1000 is an android and maybe it's from the future, but you could say the same thing about Cable. Maybe Cable wasn't completely all android, but he still had cybernetic technology to his advantage and also like a future tech, and Wade still was able to get a couple shots at him and still almost, and also to claim a W at one point during a fight. I don't think he can say he completed a full W, but he can say at least got somewhat of a W. With the right weapon, he can delay the android healing factor and possibly keep blasting him until he can't recover at all, or until Wade comes up with an idea on how to end him for good. Wade may be faster, as the T-1000 didn't get to show how fast it can be besides chasing after certain cars. Deadpool's reacts in microseconds, which isn't normal, meaning he can match the T-1000 or even outspeed him. His healing factor will play a big part in keeping him with the fighting edge in the game, as it's almost near impossible to end this man's life. He can find a nuke bomb. I'm not saying he's gonna have finding lying around, but he could get into a certain place where that is and set it off and sacrifice himself while holding the T-1000s with the T-1000 in place. Find a strong magnet, perhaps a junkyard, and have that hold the T-1000 still so that Deadpool can strategize again or take shots at it while it's in a weakened state. Deadpool is unkillable. I'm just going to put that out there. His healing factor will eventually run the T-1000 run out the T-1000's extreme heat is the thing to do the trick, as it's hard to say that during a fight in many areas that they wouldn't find themselves near a machine or accidentally fly battling towards an active volcano, in which Deadpool would survive that. But the same can't be said about the Terminator, or a place where there's, manufacturers or factories where they're making something with magma. Deadpool, again, something with the heated level of magma, of lava itself. There's always a potential possibility there's somebody in some construction site using something of that type of heat magnitude. Wildcard, Wade has the X-Men pals to lend him a hand under the pressure if it happens to get to that, since he's got the Task Force X and the other guys. That means he could hit up Colossus, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, Cable, and Domino. But as always, no press spam. It's not up to me. It's up to you guys. So if you liked either one of my arguments, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Deadpool, or you can hashtag the T-1000. As always, no press spam. We really appreciate you guys keeping it 500 subs. Peace.
Shout out to all my content supporters. We're not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats, Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos, Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and key issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below.